Kind of crazy weather right now. It's like hailing out, and today's vlog is just going to be me going to our various plots, checking up on them, and kind of give you a little brief overview of what I think the next course of actions are going to be. So I'm at our Lawrence Avenue plot here, and check it out. Most of the snow is gone. And I planted fall rye here, and it has done very well, and it's starting to come back into the spring, which is typically what happens with rye. The peas didn't really survive, but that's okay. They had their purpose. They put some nitrogen into the ground, and then they kind of winter killed. But the great thing about rye as a crop is that this is just going to start growing like gangbusters again, given that we don't get any other major snow. It's going to grow probably to a foot or two higher, and then I'm going to bring a flail mower in here, which is the attachment that goes on the front of the BCS. I can turn the handlebars around, and I will mow this down, and it'll mulch it on the ground. So I'm going to do that, and then I am going to take all of our old compost, or most of it, that's just a bunch of flats from our microgreens. People often ask what we do with our microgreen flats. They go in the compost, and we're going to basically spread them on. Once I flail mow these, put that compost on the beds, and I'm going to till those beds. So I'm going to rototill this time, and then I'm going to tarp this plot for at least a month and let those weeds in the top germinate, and then go through our stale seed bedding process, which I've explained many times before. And so this site will be a little bit late to start this year as far as the field blocks go. As far as the greenhouses go, these will be getting into production, and check it out. Spinach has done very well over the winter. Beautiful, beautiful baby spinach crop that I'll give this another week, and then we'll start coming in here with the greens harvester, and we'll be back on the market with spinach. So that's an early spinach for early March, not bad. So this is how we do overwintered crops. We seed them in the fall. In this case was the first week of October. Sits over winter. It can survive the minus 20 degrees Celsius weather we get. And then by spring it spruces right up back to life, and we can harvest it again. So coming along to the other greenhouse here, and we have got a bunch of dead Salanova. So interesting experiment here. Pretty much clear result that Salanova doesn't overwinter in unheated greenhouses when you get down to temperatures like minus 20. I think we might have only had minus 20 once, but I think the coldest on average we were getting is like minus 12 or something like that Celsius. So Salanova, even in a greenhouse, doesn't survive in those conditions. But look at this, it's just like super dry. This is good because it'll be super easy to prep these beds. We'll just pull these fabrics off, and look at that, the Salanova just comes off. So this is great. We'll just give these a nice deep fork and put some compost and fertilizer on the beds, run the tilther, and then those will be ready to plant right away. So either these are going to go to Salanova again, or they're going to go to spinach. We'll see how the other plots are doing before I decide which crops go where. So besides those beds in the greenhouses, this plot will be in rest for the beginning part of the spring. Usually this plot's one of the first that I get started. So as I pulled out of that plot there, I realized what I'll do at those greenhouses, instead of putting lettuce in there, it's actually a good opportunity to put spinach or some kind of direct seeded crop. The reason being is that those beds were covered with a fabric the whole length of that crop. And that means that any weed pressure that would have been in those beds has most likely burned off because it's germinated and would have died off under the fabrics. And so those beds are essentially stale beds, what we call a stale seed bed. And so this is a great opportunity to put a crop in that I don't want to get weed pressure on, because I've got lettuce started in the greenhouse that's going to go at our new greenhouses, but those are going to go with fabrics, right? I plant Salanova lettuce through those fabrics, and so I don't really have to worry about weed pressure so much on my Salanova. So why would I put it in a place like that, even though I would be doing lettuce twice in a row, which I prefer not to, but it actually makes more sense to do a direct seeded crop there. So those greenhouses are going to go to either some kind of arugula, red Russian kale, or spinach. I might this year just do it as spinach because I can sell more spinach than I can those other two, and they will do better in our current conditions, which are still fairly cold. So at our bi-rotation plot here, checking out the kale. Doesn't really look that edible. You know what you can do with this though? Is you can see how the tops of the plants are like they're growing, they're green. If you want to get a harvest from this fast, what you would do is you come in and strip off all this crappy leaves, like it's all bad leaves. So you'd have to come in, pull it all off. That would sort of resurge growth and you would get some nice stuff coming out of the top. You wouldn't get a lot, but you'd probably be able to pick it for a little while. I'm not going to do that because I no longer have a market to sell kale. So for us, we're done with that crop for the next little while. But that's what you can do. I've done it before. It's what a lot of farmers do from their overwintered stuff. So looking at, look how our low tunnels. I just want to show you guys, like, open sourcing the mistakes that we make on our farm. Is we didn't put our ridge poles along these low tunnels, which are ridge ropes, I should say. And so the snow, they've collapsed in on themselves. And so this is one of the biggest challenges with poly low tunnels is if you get a lot of snow, they don't really work that great. That's why the Caterpillar tunnel is better. And I'm thinking we can put a whole Caterpillar tunnel in this plot. We could actually technically put 2 Caterpillar tunnels here, which is making me think at the moment that is something that we might actually do, because I can run a Caterpillar tunnel that covers 4 beds there, run it this way. I'll have to change the arrangement of these beds a little bit, run it out this way, and then I could put another one down here if I wanted. My only barrier to doing that would be is if the neighbors didn't want me to do it. I happen to know the neighbors on this plot very well, so I don't imagine it'll be an issue, but we'll see. We might not even want to do it either way, but we'll going into winter, that might be a good thing though, for overwintering, say carrots or something like that at this plot. So this plot won't get into production right away. We've got some spinach that has actually, we got a decent amount of spinach in there. And this one, look at this. This is just horrible. We'll probably get some cuts off that stuff. And but yeah, this plot won't be in a rush to be planted this year. Will be probably not till May or maybe late April that it gets planted out. Great news at this plot, the snow is totally melted. So our plan is to put a Caterpillar tunnel up here. And you know what we might do actually, now that I'm here, we'll probably put 2 Caterpillar tunnels up here. One here, and then leave at least 2 beds in between, or 1 bed in between, and then do another there. I've actually, even though these tunnels have collapsed horribly in the snow this winter, I still have a lot of good crop underneath it that's salvageable. And even without a tunnel, if I just pulled these off right now, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to get all dirty, I've got to go back to have dinner, but I just came to check out our stuff. I will let that crop, like even if I pulled the tunnels off right now, that crop would be fine, not even covered. But the great thing about these Caterpillar tunnels is that I can just put them on over pre-existing crops. They go in the ground so easily. So that's what we'll do. There's going to be 1, 2 Caterpillar tunnels here, and we'll get this site in production really fast. You guys just wait and see. All right, so at our new plot here, which is just like half a block from my house, and I'm just checking on it, and you can see where the snow hasn't melted, which is on the northern face of this building. Obviously gets the least amount of sunlight, and but the tarps have been on here since October, so let's just take a look and see how dead our grass is. There we go. Doesn't look that dead because it hasn't really had much heat units. So if we get some warm days, then this will kill the grass better, but it's still got a ways to go. But yeah, it's still coming back. And that's what happens now too, because it's cool and the moisture is maintained in the soil. And so in order to kill that grass really effectively, we need heat and dryness to just starve it out. So I could come in here and prep it right away, but there's no real rush. I might as well leave the tarp on let it kill more of that grass, and in about a month come back and hit this when I need the place to plant. Or maybe within a little, like maybe I'll check back in 2 weeks and see how it's done then, and then kind of decide where to go from there. So back here at the home base, we're almost all melted out here, so we'll have no problem getting a caterpillar tunnel up here pretty quick. And this one will go from 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 beds, the 2 fabric to the 2 non-fabric. So I will give that rye a little more time to grow, and then I'll flail mow it. But as soon as our caterpillar tunnels arrive, we will cover these up, and that will expedite the growth of that rye, and the other beds will just start prepping right away. We'll get this portion ready because we've got Salanova lettuce in the greenhouse right now that is going to be intended for a total of 8 50-foot beds. So that could easily go at the last plot, or the last before the new plot I was at, 2 greenhouses there, and then 1 could go here. I would rather plant this one first. I'd rather have this one close to me, just for the first planting. So it'll definitely go in this. And you know what, if I wanted to just make this really convenient for the first planting and have it all close to home, I could do 1 here, and then I could put a couple low tunnels in there, which I don't really want to do, but I could. So those are some options.